Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back for another video. I hope that you were doing well, that you had a wonderful weekend. I was hesitant to do this, but might as well. This is the last week of my life, and it was not a very fun week. As you can see, this is my son Jordan, my fourth out of five as of right now, and he almost drowned at my mother's house. And so it was a long week, but we are through. The worst is behind us. He seems like he's back to normal, that there aren't going to be any lingering side effects, but that's where I was. But it's Monday and I'm back, and I want to take a look at Bitcoin. Let's do some Bitcoin analysis. Of course, we know that the next CPI report is coming out on Wednesday, July 13th, 2 days from now at 8:30 a.m., about 48 hours from now. And so we'll see what happens. Here's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping for a CPI score under 8. I think it is possible. And if you remember, last month was 8.6. And I'm seeing signs that would be the peak, or at least if not, if we have a higher CPI number for the month of June that's reported in July, that would be the peak. But what we're seeing with oil, with different things related to the CPI, is certainly that we're trending in the right direction, whether or not we see that in the next CPI report, whether we see that or not. And so if we see under 8, listen, I'm not expecting rocket emojis. I'm not expecting anything to go crazy immediately. But what I'm expecting is just a chance for us to finally exhale, knowing that 75 basis points is probably the most that the Fed is going to raise rates next time around. But if we saw something crazy like over 9%, I think the market would price in something much more drastic, perhaps a full percent, which would be insane. And so if we see a good reversal in CPI, then at the very least, we can expect is for just for an opportunity to exhale. Excuse me. I don't know what's going on today, but long week, long weekend. So now Bitcoin has been following an interesting trend lately. And if I were to just take a look at the charts, I'm going to be completely honest with you, I wouldn't be super bullish. And the reason why is it's simply we're following the same pattern. We've been following the same pattern since right about here, April 21st. Bitcoin got rejected hard off the 100-day EMA. And ever since then, ever since it dumped from there, it hasn't even touched the 50-day EMA. What it's been doing is having interactions with the 20-day EMA. And you can see that all throughout here. Rejection on April 26th, rejection on May 4th, May 5th, big dump, the Luna dump. We all remember that. And then we kind of wait. We wait for the 20-day EMA to come down. We have a couple of days above it, but eventually we can't hold it as support. A couple of days above, can't hold it as support. And then we range and wait for the 20-day EMA to come down again. And here we are again. We had a couple days above it, and we got rejected right at the 200-week simple moving average. And right now, again, we're back below the 20-day EMA. And so what does that mean? Does that mean that we're going to have another dump, a dump to $15,000, $12,000? Well, we'll see. I think this is where the CPI report will come in, and we will see what comes of it. If we do have a CPI report below, a CPI score below 8, then I would guess that we're going to start turning this 20-day EMA into support. We'll see, but that doesn't mean that the Fed's just going to all of a sudden start loosening. They've been tightening pretty hard lately, especially they've been doing quantitative tightening. That doesn't mean immediately that's going to happen, but that means that finally we can have some hope that might happen sometime in the future. So that would be my guess. Again, my guess is that we see a good CPI report and we will start turning the 20-day EMA into support. If we don't see a good CPI report, my guess is that we're going to go further down. And so we'll see what comes. I am very hopeful that we will see a good CPI report. Now, I just want to point this out, the DXY, this is dating back to, what is this, the mid 1990s. And so we are in new uncharted territory for the last 20 years with the DXY. It just keeps going up. And really, there isn't much interplay here between here and 120. Now, if the DXY got up to 120, which I don't think it will, but if it did, then man, that to me would be a fantastic time, no matter where stocks and cryptos are, to be like, okay, I am in. This is the point. This is the point of resistance. But again, I don't think it's going there. But man, this is pretty wild. Just seeing how high the DXY is going, and when will the DXY peak again? It just depends. CPI report coming up on Wednesday. One other thing I want to talk about. So I've been thinking about this, thinking about $17,500. That's as far as Bitcoin got down to on June 18th, $17,500. And when would, in my opinion, when would $17,500 be the bottom? Would I consider that the bottom? I mean, if you go back to 2018, when Bitcoin bottomed out around $3,000, it was pretty much 3 or 4 months of just waiting around and people saying that, no, it's going lower. It's going to 1,800. It's going to 1,200. And Bitcoin just kind of slowly, steadily hung around $3,000, but didn't go lower. And then a slow climb, up to $4,000. But that took 3 to 4 months for that to play out. And there was a time when people were like, okay, yeah, 3,000 was the bottom, but it wasn't the day that Bitcoin got to $3,000. And so I'm looking for something similar here. And here is what I am waiting for. And I'm going to pull up some fibs here from this date to the bottom. Here's what I'm looking for. I am looking for Bitcoin to break through this level right here, the 786. So 786 is the key level of resistance that if we get rejected there, then there's no need to call for this being the bottom, 17,500 or so. But if we break through that level and see us going, we see a good move, a holding of support from that level, then it's very likely, in my opinion, that $17,500 was the bottom. So I was asked by a family member, and here's why I'm bringing this up. I was asked by a family member to invest some money for her. Not a ton of money, but she just wants Bitcoin. And so I've been thinking through what should I do? What would I do right now? Let's just say $10,000, for example. If somebody gave me $10,000 to invest for them, I'd put it in an app in their name, whatever, and maybe even take it off the exchange. But what I think I would do is put $5,000 in right away. And then what I would do is I would wait. I would wait for either a breaking of the 786, this 786 right here, or I would wait to see if Bitcoin would go lower if we put in a lower low than the $17,500 bottom. And then at some point, whether it's $15,000, whether it's $12,000, I would just put the other $5,000 in right now. So again, let's say Bitcoin goes up higher than here. We confirm that that's not a fake out. It's not some kind of dead cat bounce. Then I think around, $28,500. That's when I'm going to go back in. But otherwise, it's just, you've got to be patient. I feel like a broken record when I say that again. Think back to 2018. For those of you who were here in 2018, but also you can very easily look at the charts. That took a long time for that to play out. It wasn't overnight. It was several months of waiting and wondering, is the worst behind us? And then finally we were able to confirm, yes, the worst is behind us. And then Bitcoin did a 5x within the span of 4 months. Not a 5x, more like a 4x, but the gains were pretty significant. And so, there will come a day when Bitcoin will reach a new all-time high. And obviously, that sounds like a duh statement to say, but guys, Bitcoin's not dead. It's absurd. I love hearing these comments. It's the same thing at $3,000. Oh, Bitcoin's dead. Bitcoin's dead. Bitcoin is not dead. Yes, it's below its 200-week simple moving average, but economic conditions would explain why Bitcoin would be below its 200-week simple moving average and why this time would be different. But my philosophy. hold on for dear life. That's not in vogue these days, but for Bitcoin, if you hold on and show resolve, it will work out within years at most. So, all right, that is all I have for today. I am going to be continuing my Would I Buy series, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, I hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful rest of your week, and I will most certainly be seeing you in another video. Peace.